Hello, welcome in guys, welcome in! This past weekend, there was a really big convention in my city called Anime North. It's a convention that takes place every year for fans of gaming, anime, and various medias as the name dictates. And this year was the very first year, and also just the first time ever, that I was invited to help host and moderate for a panel. The panel was called Women in Gaming, and it featured amazing voice actors such as Aiden, the voice of Cyrene from honkaistarrail, Kakania, Voyager from Reverse, Thrash, who voices Guang in honkaistarrail, and Alexandra Boyadjieff, who voices Tooth Fairy in Reverse 1999, and it was also supposed to feature Emily Stranges, who voices 37 and Bicorn Bloom in Reverse 1999, but unfortunately there was a bit of a scheduling conflict there. But either way, it was really fun, really amazing, very nerve-wracking because it was my very first time hosting a panel, and I also haven't done public speaking in a very long time. So yeah, either way, I think it went really well. We had some very nice chats. They were very exciting, and hopefully you guys will enjoy as well. Thank you so much to Alexia, or the little squid, for recording the panel for me to show you guys. And yeah, so that's what this video is. Just wanted to give you a little intro context. You guys probably don't really care about what I'm saying, so well, here's the full panel for all of you to peruse, and hopefully you enjoy. Oh my gosh, okay. Well, welcome everyone. Hello, welcome to the Women in Gaming panel. Fellow gacha gamers out there, today we have a very stacked cast with us. Introduce yourselves, everyone.
I guess it goes with me first. Hello, I am Thrash. I am the voice of YAOGUANG in honkaistarrail. I also voice Hanza in Path to Nowhere, and I also am Happy and Short-Haired Mina in B-Side.
This is
never
ours.
mind. Hi, I'm Aiden. I am the voice of Cyrene and Mem in honkaistarrail. I'm the voice of Ronova in Genshin Impact, and Kakania and Voyager in Reverse 1999.
Hi everybody, great to see you all. My name is Alexandra, and I am the voice of Tooth Fairy from Reverse 1999.
And yeah, my name is agekk. I just do content. I play lots of gacha games, so I'm here to host for today. But yeah, so we're going to be talking a lot about voice acting, gaming, and then we'll have a Q&A session at the end as well. So if you guys have any questions you'd like to ask, I'll open it up. But to start us off then, I wanted to ask each of you, how did you guys get started in voice acting and your journey? Where did that begin?
Maybe we'll all like take that. Oh, okay.
Start.
Hello.
I talk so long.
Glad to hear that this mic is working. So I got into acting in general when I was younger. My mom got me into it, and so basically my journey was we found an agent, did an interview with them during the agency, and I get auditions from them. Yeah, and just get auditions from video games or on camera stuff. So that's my journey.
So for me, I was really interested in voices when I was younger. And I was always watching cartoons and going, I wonder who makes those voices or who does that. So when I was finishing college, we had COVID hit, and I was like, okay, well, it's now or never. I'm building a booth. It's happening, and I learned everything I could. I used YouTube and a whole bunch of different online resources. I learned how to use a DAW, a digital audio workspace, to record my auditions, and I, learned everything I could about microphones, and got really familiar and worked very hard and just learned and really enjoyed the learning experience in order to be able to do it remotely, which, eventually helped to bigger things.
I have been a voiceover fan for a very long time. I remember growing up with Pokemon Black and White and being like, oh my gosh, this is great. I want to be a vet. And then all of a sudden, I watched one of those Tara Strong, 107 voices. And I was like, wait, they have voices? I want to do that for a living. That sounds fun. And so by the time I was 7 years old, I little while. I did Voyager for about 8 years. Then I moved out to California as soon as I was done with high school, and I took a little gap year. And as soon as I got out here, I got really lucky, and the guy who lived under me was a voice actor. So we're like talking, and he's like, "Oh, by the way, yeah, no man, this really sucks. I'm moving tomorrow." And I was like, "Oh, that sucks. Where are you moving?" "Oh, I'm moving here." I'm like, "Wait, isn't that like voice actor now?" "I'm a voice actor." He's like, "Oh, really? What have you been in?" Nothing you would have known him. And he's like, "Oh, well, I can always make things." And I was like, okay, great. And so they really helped me out. They gave me their booths to work with. They wrote me a demo. They produced my demo for me. They introduced me to some casting directors. And then like a year in, I had booked my first role, and I also had just signed with my talent agency that I'm with now. And yeah, ever since, I've just been living the dream. So honestly, it's really, really wild. But that is how my journey began.
Look how far you guys have come. Yeah, I mean, oh, sorry. But yeah, to build on to that, well, you said that, ever since you were young, you really, really wanted to start voice acting. What were some of the series specifically that you might have been inspired by?
There are so many. I grew up with a lot of I love the fairy tale English dub. Sharon really has always been a really big inspiration for me. I honestly think if I met her, I might faint. I might die on the spot, literally. But I also grew up watching Penny and Stocking. I loved that show. I should not have been watching it at the age I was, but I was. And I loved Kill La Kill. There was just a lot of things I was watching at the time and playing video games. I grew up with the Batman Arkham series, so just bang your voice actor after bang your voice acting game. And I loved the Tomb Raider series. So honestly, a lot inspired me. I think what really inspired, I love Persona. I'm a really big Persona fan, so all voice acting Persona is enough to make me go, yeah, that's what I want to do for a living.
I think for me, we had this family friend who made these VHS tapes for us, and they were 80s cartoons, old school Scooby-Doo and She-Ra and He-Man, and this one called Barba Papa. I don't know if anyone knows that one, Canadian one. And I always just loved animation and video games. I grew up playing Fable series, and Fable 2 is my favorite game of all time. And specifically, if you know them, the gargoyles that just are hey! I can't do a Scottish accent to save my life, but you know what I mean. But those kinds of funny and very lively voices just really stuck with me, and I loved that kind of content growing up. Same with magical girl shows like Tokyo Mew Mew and Wings Club and Totally Spies. Right? Just that vibe was very much my vibe, and that really inspired me in terms of the performances.
For me, I didn't really watch anime that much growing up until COVID hit. COVID was the time when I was enlightened. I was just spamming all of these shows, and I listened to. Sorry?
You were reborn.
I was reborn. I opened my eyes, and the world was different. But yeah, I was watching a lot of anime, listening to the English and the Japanese. One part that really stuck with me, I don't know if anybody's seen The Promised Neverland, but okay, no spoilers, I'm not gonna spoil the first episode, but when Emma does that scream, that sent chills in my spine. Even as I'm saying it now, I'm getting a little chills. But yeah, and also not specific franchises, but I don't know, I just watch movies and I watch TV shows, and then when I'm alone in my room, I just talk to myself in different voices. I do Jennifer Coolidge sometimes, or they're oh my god, and stuff like that, or Penelope from Wreck-It Ralph. It's when you're alone and you talk to yourself. I have friends, don't worry. But yeah, that's my experience.
No, Alex, don't worry. I do that all the time because I play lots of games that have lots of stories, and then sometimes they're not fully voiced, right? So then sometimes you'll just sit in your room by yourself, voicing every single character, and then becoming so extra, copying all of their movements.
Yeah. It's fun. It's fun. Yeah.
You also like sing on TikTok and stuff too, right? Like,
oh yeah, I do. Yeah.
tell us a bit about that.
Oh yeah, I just do covers online. Actually, I was a little bit scared like at the beginning, so I would just post it to my friends. But then I got this role and I got more confidence in myself. And we'll talk about that later. Confidence is important. Believe in yourself. Believe it. Not Naruto. Yeah.
All right, yeah, we'll talk a little bit more about that later. I have that written down. But yeah, I guess to kind of build onto this topic though, do you guys have any particular dream series or franchises or any sort of project that you guys would like to participate in the future?
I am a dreamer. I am a believer. I will one day complete the Hoyo trifecta, book my ZBZ, book my Genshin character, and somehow book a Persona game. Not sure how I'm gonna deal with all this Delulu that I hold in my heart so dearly, but I will do it. Because seeing is believing, and you're right, anything you can do it.
The dream for me has always been like some sort of like Fable-esque game. So I did recently book one that is coming out soon. That I can't say the name of, but like
A little teaser.
Yeah, but I get to be that kind of, if you know Fable, the kind of like Teresa character in the series, and kind of be a bit of a guide and have that British accent to really sit low in my voice, and it's quite beautiful. And I'm so excited for that to come out. So that's like a recent, like as of this week, dream that I've been able to achieve. Because I know the actual Fable series probably won't happen because they hire, actual Brits.
Excuse me, Delulu is the Salulu.
Okay.
The first step is believing in yourself.
Exactly.
Or the
What
next.
happened in confidence?
Yeah. Okay. Now the next Elder Scrolls game. Okay. Well, there.
For me, I mean, I've got to spend so much time with these lovely people. It would be great. honkaistarrail.
Yeah!
Somebody get me in peace. I also grew up with Gravity Falls, so it's a really big show for me. Please next summer please happen season 3. And then also really like Avatar. I don't know if they come out with like the Atla. That would be super, super fun. So yes.
Yeah, hopefully all of you guys' dreams come true. But listen, you've been working so hard all along to, you've been putting so much effort into perfecting your craft and then also, gaining such a repertoire, so fingers crossed. But yeah, speaking, going back to some of the games that you guys are currently in, do you have any maybe standout moments or favorite moments that you had when you were recording for some of the series or some of the characters that you currently have?
I think the most iconic thing about YAOGUANG is probably her laugh. I think it's really funny because I did not laugh like that. Okay, that was not what my laugh sounded like. And they were like, "Can you laugh for this little teaser?" And I was like, "Sure." So I whipped out that. And when I tell you that became my laugh for the rest of eternity. And I remember going to a movie theater and Don and Bennett, so Kong's voice actor was right behind me with Albert, Bill Lutz, and I was laughing. And then I kid you not even 20 minutes later, I get a text from Bill Lutz being like, "Was it you obnoxiously laughing about being in CH6 and CH7 and saying 6-7?" And I was like, unfortunately, that 100% was me.
Hey, you can't just say that and then not do the 6-7.
Oh.
Do the line.
I'm doing the line, okay? Give me a second. So, in all my divinations, your lucky numbers have to be 6 and 7. Anyway, for Cappy, I think Cappy's was obviously I love the early stuff when you're playing the game with her. But one of my favorite lines to record is she picks up a book and she's supposed to make an yup sound. And I have had this sound effect where I go so much, so I go, I hate reading. And it was just my favorite thing ever to record. It was super, super fun.
I think one of the standout lines for me still with Kakania is is when she's talking to Marcus about her arcane ability, which, if you don't know Reverse 1999, everybody has their own type of magic, their own arcane ability. And for Kakania, she reads people by looking within them through like what's called Mingler's mirror. But for Marcus, she reads people more in an intellectual way. But like Kakania realizes that she can read people as well, so she's like, oh my god, you were going to be a psychiatrist. And she just like freaks out at her, and Marcus is like, gosh, she's babbling like a parrot. She just like, Kakania's just going off, and I just love her, like, Kakania's energy, so like that still just like sticks with me, I love it.
That was a great moment. For me, okay, I have this very specific moment, and it was kind of awkward, but there's this one line that Tooth Fairy says, and I had the script, and it was just the F word. And I don't swear, okay? I don't like to swear, it makes me a little bit uncomfortable. So I'm reading the script and it's just the F word. And I'm like, okay, I just gotta say it out loud with like everybody else hearing me in the booth. And they had me do it like multiple takes. They're like, say it this way, I need it to sound more like this. And I'm like, okay, I'm trying, like, okay. And then later on, there was like a video on YouTube and it got like 1 million views or something. And I'm like, nobody in my life has heard me swear. And now like the whole world just knows what I say. So yeah, there's that. And then also, Tooth Fairy's known to hit people with her cars. My driving skills are,
YAOGUANG too.
Hey,
oh yeah, twins!
together. We should play Mario Kart. I think
That'd be a good one. Yes. Next, oh yeah, you and I, we'll do it. Oh yeah, it's just like some of the lines, like I think she hits a kid with her car, but then she also takes people's teeth, so she hits them. And she's like, oh, you lost a tooth, let me just yoink that. I'm like, what is she doing? But yeah, those are fun moments.
hitting people with cars and taking teeth. That's my favorite thing to do.
Sometimes you just drive into children, you know?
Oh yeah.
It happens.
Like, whoop, speed bump. Oh my bad. Couldn't see there.
But yeah, so, you know, obviously you guys do a lot of characters and you have a lot of practice for your roles and then preparing for them too. Do you have any moments that kind of really stick with you from when you maybe had struggled to perform, or just some sort of hurdle that you had to overcome when trying to really be able to encompass your characters?
Low-key, I'm my biggest hater. Like, the internet could never hate me because, like, I will always listen to a line or, like, do something and be like, God, that's the worst thing I've ever done. And it comes out and people come up to me and it's like, you were so good and I loved it. And I was like, what? Because I just remember the moment, like, especially when I feel like when I first started recording YAOGUANG, I had a director that was a little tough on me. And it was really rough because I had already felt when I had auditioned for her and booked her that I wasn't a fit for this role. And the first time I got to meet her at 3.7, we were like, this is what YAOGUANG is. And I was like, okay, cool. And we had a director swap. And it just, I was made to feel like maybe what I had feared was true. And then I just remember, you know, it came out, like YAOGUANG came out, and everyone was so sweet. And everyone was like, dude, Hanazawa is so good, okay? I love JP Dubs. And I'm like, dude, that's Cyrene from Tokyo Ghoul. Like, she's fire. And so having people be like, I prefer the English dub? Huh? What do you mean? I was like, okay, that's so sweet. So I feel like I struggle definitely against my own self because I feel like I am my own worst enemy. But once it's out, like usually a lot of people are like more nice to me than I am to myself. So that would definitely be, I think, my biggest struggle.
I think for me, one of my biggest struggles and one of my biggest growths was when I was working on Kakania, because she really was a pivotal role for me. That was the first one that I really, like, I think her first chapter, 1.7, had like over 400 lines just for that character. So it was a lot of content, and she speaks rapidly and in paragraphs and in a German accent. So it was a lot. And I remember vividly, I was doing a scene where I was talking with Isolde in Vienna, and I was talking about the world and the way that arcanists were treated at the time, and they were treated as second-class citizens. And she's quite a socialist, Kakania is. So it was a very powerful and impactful speech that she was giving about her view on the world and on society. And I remember my director, such a clever man, was using AOC as an example, and was kind of helping me to connect to her that way in more giving like a political speech and kind of trying to pull that while combining it with me speaking with a friend, which really, I think, helped me to find the line of how incredibly she cares about it and cares about justice and cares about care for people and human beings as being equal, and the frustration that comes from that and the drive, but also, you know, being human with her best friend. And so like that was just really impactful, and it took me quite a few takes to get that whole speech down because it was a lot of paragraphs, and I was feeling nervous about it because it took a while to get. But I'm really, really glad that I had a director who was going to work with me until it was what we wanted it to be, because I'm so proud of how that scene came out.
And sometimes when you're recording, right, you also get really emotional in the moment too. So then sometimes, you know, we can hear that in the actual games and in the voices, and that really resonates with us as the audience so much too. I just got goosebumps thinking about some of the moments again. But yeah, what about you, Alex?
Okay, so I can relate a lot to Ari about the whole thing where like you shrug like your biggest haters. Oh my gosh, it's actually crazy. Imposter syndrome is absolutely nuts. But yeah, I think like Tooth Fairy, for anybody who doesn't know her, she's like kind of like a mother figure, and she looks after people. She like mainly the children and just like kind of there for you, and that really helped me because like when I find out that I'm voicing her, it's kind of like my inner self telling myself that like it's gonna be okay, and like you should believe in yourself, and you're gonna be fine, and like stop overthinking. And she's like definitely a ground for me. Yeah, that was a big struggle that I had to overcome. Especially when you're recording lines, you're doing auditions, you self-doubt yourself a lot, and you're like, am I saying this right? This is like the 50th take, but but am I saying this right? But wait, but that one was better, but is this what they want? Like, it's a lot of like back and forth with yourself, and then you find out like when I got this role, again with Ari, when you're like, people come up to you and they're like, oh my god, I love how you did this line, especially like with the one line where I said the F word, like that was so uncomfortable for me, and then people are like, oh my god, I love how you executed that, and I'm like, okay, thank you. So yeah, it's just like getting over the idea that like you're in your head, you need to get over that, and you do a good job.
Yeah, and I think that applies to pretty much everyone in any situation, right? Everyone is their harshest critic, and it's really hard to get out of your own head sometimes because you can't really see the perspective from the outside. And just know that I'm sure, like for me, and I'm sure everyone in the audience as well, we do absolutely adore all of your performances, and you guys bring the characters to life. You guys give them a type of, you bring them to life, you give them a personality, and we can also, it's really interesting to see how you guys also influence the characters as well, because every single voice actor has their own style and their own personal experiences that they're bringing to each individual. So you guys are doing amazing.
Aww. Yeah.
No, you.
Oh my god, now I'm getting nervous. I mean, I guess my next two questions are kind of similar. What are some things that you maybe wish that you knew when you first started out with voice acting, and what sort of advice might you guys want to give to people who are either interested in that field or just in general for maybe trying to chase their dreams?
This is a hard question. I think for me it's because I'm so fresh and I'm so young, and I've honestly accomplished a lot in such a short amount of time that a lot of people are like, wow, like, I remember talking to Alejandra and I mentioned my age, and he was like, God, don't ever talk to me ever again, you're so young, like, you make me feel ancient. I'm like, oh, my bad. So, it's like, I would say, honestly, voice acting has gotten me through like the hardest parts of my life, knowing that like this was my dream and I wanted to be here. So like no matter what I went through, like this is where I wanted to be. And like just having drive and knowing that like there are gonna be times that you want to give up, but like you just can't. Like there have been so many times in my life where I'm like, I love voiceover, but I also 3,000% want to give up at the same time. And just getting through that and like knowing that everyone's journey is different. There are people who, you know, they struggle a little bit more, and there's people who look like they have everything together and maybe they don't. And so I say be kind to yourselves, give yourselves grace. Like sometimes things happen like really fast, and sometimes it's a slow build. And I think honestly being kind to yourselves is like the best thing that you can do, and just taking it slow. And I'm like the most impatient person, so when someone tells me take it slow, I'm like, no, I don't want to, please. So honestly, I think that's just my advice, is like be kind, know that everyone's journey is different. Yes, you'll have some success, yes, you'll have some slow periods, and honestly just have fun. As soon as it becomes something less than fun, then it's just like your heart's not in it for what it was anymore. And I love doing what I do, and there are times where it's hard, but I still have so much fun and I love it.
I think, you know, my advice for anyone starting specifically in Canada is that just know that if you want a career specifically in video games or animation in video games, or in voiceover, I'm awake, you probably will want to go to the US. That will probably be something that you want to do. It's just me being realistic on the journey that I'm on, and having done like 7 years here and leaving to the US next week. So it takes a long time. They say it takes 5 years to build a business. That's exactly what I did. I built a business here, and I hit wall after wall after wall after wall after wall. I have one of the best home studios in the country, probably, because I have worked with studio engineers multiple different times to improve the audio quality, to make sure I have all the highest level equipment that is bookable and is what they're using in the studios. And still I was meeting hurdles because I was in Canada, and unfortunately it's just what you're gonna do. And if you choose to be remote, you know, like you can have a career in it. But if you want to be working in anime specifically, video games specifically, it's going to be a lot easier if you're able to be in the US. For games that are like MiHoYo based, you have to figure out who those casting directors are, figure out their names, figure out where to coach with them, figure out who has trained with them. If they're not accessible, like one of the main directors for Genshin Impact is not accessible, so you want to work with people that he's worked with. You want to know the kind of genre. If you're interested in those kinds of things, you have to seek out the people involved in the content you want to do. You have to do a lot of training, a lot of learning, and put the hours in. It has to be everything you do. You have to still take care of yourself, but you have to have the active interest in it, because if your life is occupied by so many other things that you feel like you're not able to spend time on your craft, you simply will not get better. You have to put the time in, you have to put the work in. It's a lot, it's a slog.
And that's for people who are wanting to take it like super seriously as a career, right? Because there's a lot of hobbyists too. There's also, like Aiden said, if you're not specifically looking to work in games or anime, you can always, start off just practicing, going to classes, honing your craft, for many years. And then if you decide to really take that leap, then you can get into the super serious weeds of, really wanting to look into, okay, now I want to get serious, so these are the next steps I need to take. But there's also nothing wrong at all with, obviously, just doing it for fun.
Exactly.
Like Ari said, if you're not having fun with it, then your heart's not in it. And at the end of the day, having fun is the most important thing.
Yes, thank you for saying that, because I couldn't be all like serious. Like, I'm saying if that's what you want to work in.
No more, no more.
Yeah, if it's not something you love and like enough to be doing that much, I'm just a crazy person, and I'm like, okay, right? That's all I want to do. But if you want to do it for joy, do it for joy. Like, please don't let me make you afraid of it, because it's the funnest job in the world. Funnest is the word.
Oh yeah, I'm actually at that stage in my life where I'm also not really sure like how to move forward because I'm graduating this year from UFT. Thank you. Yeah.
Congrats!
Yay! Yeah. I just don't really know how to move forward, but I'm also figuring that out. Hopefully it works out. In terms of advice that I would give, I've talked about this a lot, we've talked about this a lot, please believe in yourself. Oh my goodness. Like, for my role, yes, please, I'm gonna say 1,000 times, please believe in yourself. For my role was Reverse 1999, it's actually like the first role I've had in a video game, and I thank you for so many. Thank you. In terms of auditions, I auditioned like 6 times for that game before that, and it was definitely like I started self-doubting a lot, specifically for this role. I was like 17 at the time. I'm looking at the audition sites. It's like a 25-year-old British doctor, and I'm like, that is not who I am. But yeah, voice acting. I feel like a lot of people kind of like think that's like, what's the word? Misjudge it. They think it's like easier. No. you gotta pretend to be somebody that you're not, and like that means like being like an 80-year-old woman sometimes, or maybe like a child. Like it's definitely you gotta stretch yourself a lot.
And you only have your voice to portray the character, right? You don't have your physical like appearance like in traditional acting, so it's so impressive.
Yeah, just in terms of my experience. So yeah, auditioned a whole bunch of times. The link to submit wasn't working. I was running late for school. Like this, this role was like out of nowhere. Like I remember coming to Anime North. I think my first time coming here was 2022. I cosplayed Nesco, and like now 4 years later, I'm here on a stage. So like it's crazy how it works. In terms of voice acting like tips, just in general, one thing I did learn from the director is this was his biggest tip is to like listen to video games, listen to anime and like how they do it. It's just like listening, and also another one is again how you mentioned how it's just your voice. You gotta act a lot with your body. I didn't know that. Don't sit down, stand up, and just like really get into character. Yeah, it's all you can hear in the voice. Like if you need to smile. Like you can hear yourself smiling. I don't know how to describe it. That's some big tips that I learned from my
I
experience.
can definitely tell because I've had directors be like, Ari, she's so serious right now, and I can tell you're smiling. And I'm like, all right, I'll try again.
Yeah, and it's the same thing with singing. All of you guys can sing. By the way, everyone here is an amazing singer.
Yeah, including age.
Oh,
I don't know about that one, but but what are some like with singing in particular? It is also a very physical craft. A lot of the times when you are trying to perform, you do have to also stand up, smile if it's a happy song. Sometimes you cry when it's a sad song. But in general, how do you guys think maybe your singing might have helped with learning how to voice act as well, whether it's like breath control, things like that?
For me, I have a really good, I'm really good at mimicry. So I think for me, when I get like a total reference and I'm able to like mimic it. So like I'll hear a Japanese, a Japanese voice actor, and I'll like listen to it and craft the voice at the same time. So I'll like start saying a line as the Japanese rep is playing to make sure. And sometimes when you're in sessions, especially like my first anime session, which was Gundam G-Quest, which was due, they sometimes like line read me just to make sure that I was getting the lip flaps right. And so they would line read me and I would copy it exactly. They're like, you're a singer, aren't you? And I was like, what? Like, how did you know? They're like, because you were able to mimic it like exactly, which is something that like, as a singer, it's really easy to be like, oh, this is like the tone that you need, this is like this pitch that you need. So it's just like, if you hear a Japanese voice and it's like super high pitch, then you're gonna go super high. And so it just made it a lot easier for me, I think, as a singer. But breath control, my God, I need to work on that.
I think I'm so good. I think that my experience as a singer really, really helped to strengthen a lot of performances for me. I didn't realize until how long ago was it now? Maybe a year ago that I'm an asthmatic. So I was working with not a lot for a long time. My lung doctor said I had 40% lung capacity when I got my steroid inhaler. First of all, you can have severe asthma and be a voice actor. That can happen. But my singing throughout the years, I had sung all my life, and I had trained classically as a first soprano, and I went to school for music theater performance, and all of that really helped me with my breath work and keeping my core strong and being able to actually use my voice and use the full amount of my 40% lung capacity that I have. And I think that really, really helps to strengthen how you use your voice. After a day of singing, after a day of like melting my face off and enjoying myself doing karaoke, as long as I don't go too hard, the next day my voice is a lot stronger because my lungs have woken up and because I'm using my diaphragm more comfortably. If we don't use our bodies, like if you don't use it, you lose it. So it's a really good reminder of like, you know, even just singing for fun will genuinely help you in voiceover because it unlocks something within you. It helps you to be more connected with your own body, and it helps you to relax in ways you don't realize you're not relaxing.
I feel like they already touched on some really good points. I don't really know what to add here. In terms of relaxing, sometimes I just like stand in the booth and I'm a little nervous, just like sing a little song and do a little dance. That definitely like loosens you up and gets you more relaxed. Sometimes I also like to sing songs in different languages. I mean, I'm sure you all like to do, like, I don't know what I'm saying, but I'm sure you all like to sing like anime openings and stuff, and like you learn how to pronounce certain words.
Bada bee, bada boo, bada ba.
Yeah. I remember like I recently went to Quebec and I sang Despacito and like and then somebody came up to me and they asked me like, "Tu hablas español?" I'm like, "No, I have no idea what I just said." But yeah, I think like pronunciation, I think is a pretty good one. Breath control, we touched a lot about that, like diaphragm, and also just like opening up more. Like if you can sing it out loud and just like get it all out there, I think it helps you relax and just open up, yeah.
I mean, speaking of singing, you do covers for those TikToks. How has fandom life been?
Oh yes, fandom life. Okay, again, this is like my first big goal. Can I just say that like the fandom's amazing? Just seeing you guys here, like this is absolutely nuts. And like all the comments I've gotten really did help with my like self-confidence. I'm touching on that again. This is a big one for me. But just like, yeah, everybody's so nice. I see people come to me and I'm literally fanfailing as much as they are with me because I'm like, oh my god, like who's me? Like you want my signature? Are you serious? It's just like I cannot stress enough just how much I love all of you, and like just you being here, it means so much to me. Like this is a dream come true, and yeah, I wouldn't be. I know everybody says this, but I like we mean it. We wouldn't be here without you. Like your support means so much.
I just have to say also, before we continue on, as someone who started the game right during the beta for Reverse 1999, I was like needing Tooth Fairy and like playing the game and like fangirling for the longest time. So like when we got to go to our first convention together, I was like, oh my god, I get to meet Alexandra. So that was really cool.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, no, like, and we are all fans of the stuff that we do, which is so crazy and cool.
Your turn.
What?
Or like interacting with the fandoms.
Oh, that was an actual question. I'm really chaotic. Don't laugh at me. I think I'm really chaotic. So I feel like people don't expect, I feel like a lot of voice actors handle themselves with so much grace, and for someone who voices someone so graceful, I am like so silly, goofy goober on the internet. So it's just like, for me, I was just in fandom like 2 years ago. I was literally in voice actor lines being like, oh my god, I'm your biggest fan! Like, I can't wait to work with you one day! And everyone was like, oh my gosh, good luck with classes, I can't wait to work with you! And I was like, they don't believe in me. I was like, I can control. But honestly, everyone's been super sweet, and like, it's so awesome, like now little squad I call the Skinner Squad, which is my little like raccoon babies. Every time I like comment, they're like, "Mother's here," and I'm like, "Guys, I'm probably younger than you. What?" Like voicing someone who has such like I guess like an auntie kind of like motherly kind of energy, and then having people go, "Oh my gosh, mother, I love her," and I'm like, "Hello?" Like I'm probably your daughter. Hello? But it's really fun and I love it, and I think I'm just like for being part of so many different fandoms, like being a Genshin like player for such a long time, now interacting with the Honkai fan base, like I'm like, wow, it's like I'm home, but I feel like I'm undercover and like a little I somehow have gotten a badge where it's like, here, now you're like special voice actor badge. I'm like, oh great, but I'm no different. Someone give me a PR team like stab before I say something.
I mean, speaking of fandom though, do you guys have any questions that you guys would like to ask? We can open up a Q&A for the last 15 minutes. Here, I don't know where the mics are, so you'll have to give me a second.
Let me take this.
Oh yeah, take that one.
Let me hold this mic.
Oh no, you hold this one.
Never mind, I'll hold this mic. This mic, my mic.
Hi again. Thanks again for yesterday, Miss Dawn. And I guess for the both of you, is there anything that's really stood out to you after like because you're saying like just now, it feels like you're like, hey, I'm dead. Oh, tell me, I'm got a role in this now. Like how has the transition felt when interacting with your peers?
Dude, I'm so bad at it. Like oh my gosh. Okay, so I had a little bit of a dental emergency like a year ago where I had to have like 2 root canals. KG Tang, who is Gojo, so sweet, literally let me $700 to help out with my funds. And I remember after I got my teeth done, I thought they looked so horrific. I was like, dude, it looks like a doctor put like Play-Doh in my mouth. Like, what is this? So I went out to Alexandra saw that coffee, and I was like, hi Alexandra, dude, look what they did to my teeth, they massacred them. And so he's like, what do you mean? I get a flashlight, I'm like literally pointing it into my mouth, and he's like looking, he's like, dude, it doesn't even look that bad. So we interact, right? And then I have to leave, or he has to leave. And he's leaving, and I was like, dude, it's because you hate me. He's like, don't you dare say that. I just looked into your mouth for 10 minutes. You don't get to say that I hate you.
Dang it, Alejandro.
So when I tell you, I don't think I'll ever like bridge that because I'm still such a huge fan. I mean, just earlier I was like, if I met Jeremy Lee, like I honestly think I might pass out. We might work on stuff, and like all the time I'll be like, so guys, it's really nice to meet you, and we're in Gundam together, or you know, we're in Honkai together, and it's really cool. And they're like, oh, what do you play? I'm like, I mean, I'm long, and they're like, oh, that's so sweet. I really like your character. I'm like, oh, nothing like my character. This is so surreal.
For me, I think because I'm also a director and a casting director for One Line Studios, getting to work with some of those actors, like Kira Buckland is so kind, such a nice human being, and is so easy to work with and like easy to direct, and just like flies through a script. And from a director's perspective, in terms of like getting to work with all of these actors who are just phenomenal, it's such a shock, and like it's so I'm like, am I actually here? Is this real? Like, you know? Some of the actors that I've gotten to meet have been absolutely wonderful, and it just goes to show you that a lot of business people in this career really do love it in the same way. Like, we're here because we are the same. Like, we're all nerds. We all love the content. We all have such respect for it. So it's really cool getting to meet fellow people who have the same mentality, you know?
That's wonderful. Thank you both very much.
Anybody else have any other questions?
Hello. So what's the debrief like for when you get a character role? Do you talk with the writer of the character, or are you kind of getting things as a surprise sometimes?
In terms of like audition roles, like when you first get it, in terms of auditions, they usually like give you your lines. They give you like a little paragraph about like description of the character. Sometimes they add the picture, but like sometimes it's confidential. So they give you like a reference. A lot of references too. They be like, listen to this YouTube video of this person from this, and try to match it, but then also match it with like these other 3 characters and do it all at the same time. But yeah, that's like usually the audition size, and then yeah. And when you get into the studio, I found that the director was a huge help. Shout out to, I don't know if I'm allowed to say his name, but yeah. Okay, shout out to Kirill. I love you if you're listening. Wonderful director. Again, also references. He would be all like, you need to sound like Professor McGonagall in this scene, and you need to sound like this. But yeah, they because they have like the rest of the lines in the scenario, they know it better. So the directors are definitely very helpful to like try to guide you through the scene and how you should do it. And sometimes they'll be like, actually say it more like this, and then like they'll do it, and you just gotta copy them because they do it so well. And sometimes I'm listening to them like, you sure you don't want to be in the middle like recording these lines? Because you're doing like a pretty good job. But yeah, that's usually like the background of how we get to like know the characters and kids.
Yeah, I'll add from the director's perspective. So for a casting director first, we get the materials from the client, and they often give us something that's got like, especially because I work with a lot of clients in China. Those clients will send us something that's got both the original Chinese and then the translation that they've given us. And sometimes the translation will be a little bit off, so we kind of have to interpret what that might mean and kind of adjust the sides so that it makes sense to an actor to give them like tangible terms to use. So it's not just they feel this way, or like make them do it sad. Like we give them a little bit more context. To kind of a casting director helps give you that first point of contact with the character, the first like tangible items of like, here's how they might feel, here's how they might act or interact. And then like once you get in the booth, a director has read the entire script. A director has read all the breakdowns of every single character. They know all of the work very intimately, so they have the full picture in order to help you as an actor who can't access that confidential information. And they're able to kind of like give all of that to you and help guide your performance and help it really shine. So it's really a collaborative effort. And sometimes the writers will be in the room. Like on Reverse, like the writers were there on the Zoom call and would sometimes chime in and have things to say and adjustments to make or compliments. They're very nice. And it's a really cool experience. It's so collaborative.
I feel like everyone's kind of touched on it, but so they usually give me like, it just depends. Sometimes I'll get like an audition and it's like, alright, so it's like 5 sentences and this is the background, this is the personality, no picture. And you're like, okay. And then sometimes it's like paragraph after paragraph, this is their whole backstory and this is why their mother died. And you're like, what? And then I'll be like, but they're happy, but they're sad. But they're kind of conflicted about it, but we don't want them to be too cheeky and too boozy, but be a little mad about it, but not too mad. Because if you're too mad, you're like, alright, so I'm just gonna play this character how I want to play this character. Like, I remember when I got YAOGUANG's like audition, it was like a really nice paragraph. When I tell you, I thought YAOGUANG's whole thing was gonna be like, I know I'm supposed to be like all about divination, but I'm more about manifestation. So I really took that kind of approach. Like the attitude that kind of came from YAOGUANG came from the fact that like at the very end it was like, oh, she has a flamboyant, peacockish personality. So it wasn't until I was in the booth that like the client was there and was like, oh yeah, so she has like she's got like peacock stains everywhere and like feathers, and I was like, oh, she's like peacockish. Okay, like awesome. But I think that's like the fun of it because I kind of like that. Like having a picture is helpful, but when you have a description, the way you build the character is like your perception. Like it's so imaginative because you're just sitting there like, okay, this is how I imagine this character carries himself. Maybe I relate it to like this thing I've watched with this character that I really like. And then you that's how you craft the character. And it's so fun because then when you get it right and you get booked, you're like, they thought my interpretation of this character that they wrote is the correct one and this is the one that they want. And that's so fun. And even getting into the booth, I remember in 3.7 when I was recording that we had some oopsies. Like we were kind of trying to find YAOGUANG, and then by the end of my session, my director was like, "There, that's it. Okay, when you come back here, whenever, you're gonna remember that exact attitude. That's YAOGUANG. Okay, when I see you back here, that's it." So every time I walk into the booth, they're like, "I don't need to." They're like, "We can play you a reference, but I don't think you need it." And I'm like, "No, so I'm ready. Let's go."
There's a fun little story. It's not my personal experience, but I've talked to Amanda Rochelle, who voices Kakania in Wuthering Waves, and she told me this story about how when she was first getting her lines, Kakania interacts with a character that's inspired by a jellyfish in the game, right? So then apparently in her brief, when she was first learning it, at first, for the first part of the story, until the game actually came out, she thought she was talking to a literal jellyfish. And then it turned out to be a whole person after the fact. So it's really, that was really funny. But yeah, thank you so much for your question.
Thank you.
Is there anyone else who would like to ask something? Oh my God!
Sorry. How do you maintain like a character's voice? Because whenever I do like voice acting by myself, I always find myself struggling with like keeping the voice consistent. Like sometimes it's like too high and I'm supposed to say it a bit lower and then I like freak out to myself. I honestly, it really does depend. I think sometimes even I've had trouble with that, where like I can tell, especially when I'm recording late night sessions with a character, like, "Hi, so this is what it sounds like the whole time." It will slowly go lower, and then sometimes the director will notice and be like, "Hey, can you like heighten it a bit?" I know for me, especially getting to like character voice, I really love music. Like I will create like a whole playlist based on the character. Like I literally have a YAOGUANG English dub like playlist, and it all is like It Girl. So like right before my like sessions, I'm like, "I'm the ITGIRL. You know I am that girl." And so like I think having that kind of that musicality and having the thing to kind of like keep me there. But otherwise, it's a lot of hydration. You want to keep your vocal cords lubricated with like and like. You want to make sure you're drinking water. Like, I'm not a water drinker, but when I'm in 4-hour sessions, I drink like 6 bottles. And I'm like, they're like, "Dang," I'm like, "I have to pee. Can we pause the session?" I always get so nervous too. They're like, "You're not trapped here. Why are you acting like you're a prisoner?" I'm like, "I'm so sorry, they can make me too." But other than that, I think that's the advice I have. That even as a professional, I have that issue where I go up and down. I finished a session the other day, and I was like, "I'm pretty sure we ended that whole character," and like they went from like, "Yeah, this is what I sound like," to "Yeah, this is what I sound like," and they're like, "No one noticed." It was like, "No, we noticed, but they didn't notice, so it's okay." I was like, "Okay."
Yeah, I think for me, like specifically speaking to them, for example, because you can hear where my voice is. It is not that high. Are you sure? I'm sure. So for me, like learning how to sing really helps because I learned how to use my upper register and like my head voice and really have things that are a little bit lighter. But the consistency in that is really key. So when I booked that character, I was afraid. I was afraid because I thought I wasn't going to be able to sustain it for the duration of the sessions, and I thought I was gonna let the team down. But eventually, the voice became second nature because what I could do was literally walk around the house speaking MEs. And one of my favorite warm-ups was to take whatever song I was feeling at the time, which is why the meme videos on TikTok, if you know, they took off because that's what I was doing all the time. Like literally, Sea Shanty 2 for RuneScape. That was my warm-ups. That was what I was doing so that I could stay in the voice and so that I could make sure that it was just like comfortable. And it's a mental thing too. Knowing where it's going to sit physically is something that you remember. It's muscle memory. So if you're not doing it a lot, if you've never done the voice before and you're not speaking in it before your session, it's harder for your muscles and your brain to actually remember it. So doing it more often will genuinely help you to sit in it more comfortably and not have to think about it as much.
So
Can I just say that's a really good question? Like, good job, because I'm sure we all have struggled with this. I know, like, sometimes I do auditions, and like it's really hard to maintain the voice while expressing the emotion. Especially like with Tooth Fairy's character, she's very like calm. But there's been times when she like yells at people, and I'm like, how am I supposed to do that when yeah, and then like also she's British. Obviously, I'm not British. That was a little bit of a hurdle. When I was thinking of her voice, I thought it like my reference was like, you know, the Dyson vacuums, but like a Dyson British like vacuum commercial. That's the reference. So yeah, I mean, they've already mentioned it before, but tips would definitely be like practice. I walk around by myself. I mentioned this before, talking to myself a lot. But, like practice, make sure you have references. I'd say another one is definitely like make sure you're taking breaks. Sometimes if you do it for a super long time, you kind of lose yourself. So yeah, make sure you like take a break. Really nice break. Like listen to some references, and then after that, like you'll be able to get back into the headspace. But it is very difficult. We all struggle with it. Really, really good question.
Yeah, thank you so much. Is there anyone else who has any questions? Come on up. Oh my gosh.
I got their account.
We have an administrator this time. Yeah.
Right. So just like kind of like how you talked about like needing to know your reference and like researching. So with honkaistarrail, have you ever looked back into how you was Honkai Impact 3rd game?
So, I actually played it. I was a really big player for a really long time. Like, I remember jogging around with Alexandra in the little, like fieldish area, like fighting all the, what are they called? See, it's been such a long time, but I absolutely adore that game, and I love that the Hoyo takes from those games and, like, puts variants and everything. I think, for me, okay, here's the thing. I, for the longest time, thought YAOGUANG was Vita. I'm not gonna lie, for the longest time, I thought she was. I remember theorizing, I was like, oh my gosh, Peacock Lady. Who's a Peacock Lady in Honkai Impact 3rd? Vita? Ooh, I think this is who I'm playing. And then it was like, I just remember seeing like, the like battle combat, and I was like, oh, that's not Vita. So, I definitely think there's some inspiration for me when it comes to like Honkai Impact 3rd. I think in general when I thought it was Vita, I tried to bring some more of that attitude to YAOGUANG for sure. But it comes naturally. I'm so sassy, so.
For me, when I got the audition sides for Cyrene, Alexia was listed on there. So I did look her up, and from her Chinese voice, I tried to match her kind of cadence and that kind of energy, but I didn't really know about the game. And so when I booked the role and I'm sitting in session, they were like, yeah, so do you know how big this role is? And I was like,
Considering the Allegiant realm art.
I know. Yeah.
Surprise!
So I learned real fast. I did all the research and I played it, and I really got into it to try to make sure that I was doing justice to the story that they're trying to kind of like bring back in a new way. Yeah. I think that's it from us. One last question.
Anyway, sorry, we've run out of time, so unfortunately we can't answer any more questions. But we will be over there from this perspective, left of the entrance. So if you guys have any more questions for any of them, then you can feel free to come by, stop by, have a little chat. But, Ari has something to say?
If you missed us so badly, you can find us if you go up, it's to the left of the info booth, and we would love to talk to you all.
Thank you everybody for coming.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.